Phoenix's turn to ban. Fnatic's turn to ban. Phoenix's turn to ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Reserve time. Fnatic's turn to pick.
Enchantress.
Phoenix's turn to pick.
Welcome back, guys. Game number 2 in a best of 5. And my goodness, game number 1 was an absolute cracker. We'll get into the draft. MVP Phoenix going up against Fnatic. I am Durka in the JD Studios, as always, and I'm joined by the wonderful Heen. Game number 2, a different day, different draft. I'm Fnatic get the first pick, Enchantress.
Yeah, the bans are the same. I think this is kind of typical when one team wins. They're like, okay, our game plan is solid. Whereas look at MVP, they banned the Invoker. They thought they could deal with the Invoker, and to be fair, they could have won the game. For sure, they could have won the game, but they saw the full potential of mid one's late game Invoker. And you know, the last game, some people might think, okay, they had a Spectre, what better hero to go late game than with Spectre, but it wasn't all of Spectre at all. It was like a combination, it was a team effort, but I think the star player was definitely mid one. That hero just did so much into the mid-late game when Fnatic needed him to perform the most. And we're going to see a Sven come out for Fnatic. And the Sven versus Nature's Prophet matchup, I'm sure everyone's seen the what late game Sprouts can do.
And keep your Quelling Blade for a little bit longer, but regardless, last game, I think DJ, you know, I called at the end of the last game that mid one's Invoker was probably MVP, and that's maybe a little bit biased on my part because I do love a bit of Invoker, and he did have a pretty damn good game. I can't remember his end game score, but he died like twice. Both of them were in the first 15-20 minutes of the game. But DJ, the Doom blinks to the Centaur Stomp. You know, Centaur Stomp has a stupidly short AoE range, right? But he was consistently getting 2 or 3 man stomps off in that game. An absolute insane player, always getting the Dooms onto the Enchantress, onto the right targets. And DJ's play was pretty spectacular. But into this draft, Batrider, Invoker, Bounty, and Wisp, like he said, all taken out of the pool. Oracle, Ember Spirit. What do we look for now? I mean, Fnatic got Enchantress Sven. They need a couple of supports, and I think that's what Phoenix maybe looks to ban out as well.
It's hard to say because the mid hero pool right now is kind of limited. With the Invoker gone, I think mid one's second most played hero is a Zeus. I don't think they'll ban Zeus though. They're gonna ban OD and try to pick a favorable mid matchup for Kyo, I'm guessing.
Spirit Witch Doctor. Thoughts for MVP, Fnatic? Where do we go?
Doesn't MVP have to be somewhat careful of a Broodmother pick because their second pick, which means they're going to reveal 4 heroes and Fnatic can potentially pick a Broodmother if MVP picked their carry hero too early.
5 seconds remaining.
That's very true. Witch Doctor and Venge, they don't do particularly well against Brood. And that Ember Spirit ban, is that indicative of anything, or is that just a QO, you're not getting Ember this game?
I think because Kyo and MP both played, it's essentially an efficient ban because you take it out of mid and the safe lane. And looking at the Nature's Prophet and Witch Doctor, one way to make Nature's Prophet really valued for MVP, they don't rat with it, Nature's Prophet. They look to fight, and Ember Spirit might be the perfect hero. He goes in, like the Venge and Witch Doctor don't really run in first. They often follow up, and Ember Spirit he may be a squishy hero, but he's very good at setting up fights early mid game. So they chose to take that out because last game Fnatic won,
10
but they're
seconds
still
remaining.
respecting the early mid game dominant playstyle from MVP.
5 seconds remaining.
Koreans are thinking hard about this one.
Reserve time.
I want to see them bring back March and bring back the Warlock. We're not gonna see that for a long while though, unfortunately. We've still got heroes like Slark for QO. Could be potentially a hero they look towards. Only is he very competent on the hero, but kind of preempts a Brood pick as well. If Fnatic were thinking about that one. Juggernaut is always that kind of safety pick for MVP. I still don't know how I feel about it though. You know, I see MVP pick the Juggernaut a lot in the second phase and like fourth pick Juggernaut, and it's like, well, it's decent, it's solid, but it never seems to shine. I really like the Slark pick, honestly. Not just because I called it, but I like the Slark.
The Slack pick is gonna give Fnatic some valuable information, though. To my knowledge, MP has never played Slark. A lot of heroes, Kyo and MP, can interchange them, but Slark is pretty much it's reserved for Kyo only. So that means they can gear their next ban towards MP strictly. What off lanes are left for Fnatic, or is this going to be an Enchantress off lane? Oh, never mind, Phoenix.
Phoenix's turn to ban.
Interesting. I mean, I was thinking it's going to be a DJ Enchantress, but I'm not sure now. No, so is that Ohio? Because what we saw at Shanghai was like support Phoenix a hell of a lot of the time, but is this going to be an off-lane Ohio Phoenix? What's your thoughts?
5 seconds remaining.
I think it's more likely going to be an Ohio Phoenix with a DJ Enchantress. DJ is a very good jungler. He's been owning with Enchantress for a long time. I don't see a particular reason to switch, like, why pick something that ain't broke, right? That said, though, what's really cool for Fnatic is that other than the Sven, I think they can mix up these roles any way they want. It could be a Tusk off. I doubt it, but these three heroes are all capable of offlaning and playing support. But yeah, I think it will be a 3-4-3 Tusk, or maybe a DJ Tusk.
It's difficult, right? Actually attributing players to these heroes.
Yeah.
But what we can agree on is that it's going to be mid one's hero as the final pick. Puck, not a bad shout. Takes that one out of the pool. MP, what kind of heroes is he going to be aiming towards for the mid lane? Yeah, difficult. I mean, Viper, mate. Like the thing is with MP, you know, you kind of think of Invoker, sometimes the OD. There aren't really any heroes that scream out MP mid for me.
5 seconds remaining.
But usually like QO hero. It's a difficult choice.
Reserve time.
We saw MP Venomancer yesterday. Usually this team criticized for slightly limited hero pools, and who knows? Oh, Venoman actually. Yeah.
Get out! Oh dear.
Something new.
MP play TA at all?
Yeah, he does. But
Phoenix, I guess that's not the most fun.
The thing is, TA also happens to be Kyo's one of his best heroes as well. So when they pick a TA, Kyo often ends up playing the TA anyway. So MP might not feel the most comfortable playing TA.
And they don't know what the mid matchup is either, so
5 seconds remaining.
Even more difficult. You know, there's always the Queen of Pain out there that's kind of a solid option, an all-rounder that gives you that early game nuke and burst damage, good mobility, good laning presence as well, and is difficult to counter in lane especially. They might even look for something like, oh wow.
Oh, it's a mid Slark.
Turn to pick.
Hey.
That is like some massive balls from MVP to pick. They're basically letting Fnatic know this is going to be a mid Slark, is probably not a mid Doom, right? Fnatic their choices for mid are so open right now, because almost any hero can lane against Slark just fine.
Maybe the best for them.
Remaining.
You mentioned the mid lane Zeus.
I think because MVP have a Doom,
5
they
seconds
might
remaining.
choose some kind of like scaling mid hero, because if you're gonna get
Reserve
carried back
time.
on Sven and he gets doomed every single time, that might be a problem. So pick some other Doom target. Like when you have so many Doom targets, then one guy gets doomed, that sucks, but the other guys are free to do whatever.
Diminishes the power. I mean, Wind Ranger was a hero that we saw a little bit from Secret. You know, Weehaw obviously very good Wind Ranger player. Too bad here. You've got plenty of good targets to really shackle, bring down pretty low armor targets, especially that Doombringer. So leaning pretty nice for the Wind Ranger here up against the slot. Just keep right clicking him away, but I'm at a loss here, Heen. You are
Mid Enchantress?
gonna have to help me out.
Oh man. Oh, what?
DJ Earthspirit and Mid Enchantress? You know, when we landed in Croatia, we flew from Berlin to Zagreb and then to Split. And when we landed in Zagreb, we had our changeover to the flight, and there were a bunch of players there. There's like and there's some secret players, and the entirety of MVP were there. QO comes up to Blitz, starts talking about Mid Enchantress, and Blitz was like, "Nah, that guy's being an idiot. They're not going to play Mid Enchantress." And they didn't, because we very rarely see this hero. She's pretty bloody squishy. If you get stunned up once, the likelihood is she's going to die. Laning wise, if she's in like a 1v1 vacuum, it's difficult to handle. But DJ is a mid
Earth Spirit.
Well, they took a while thinking about that, didn't they?
Or they probably planned it from the beginning. They wanted to confuse the players on MVP just as much as we were confused. When they have such an interchangeable lineup like that, there's no reason to pick your heroes early and give MVP more time to plan how they want to approach this game. It's like since the game one, both teams are pretty well prepared. They counter TP each other, so you can't get those undewardable wards off.
Oh, already. One observer what is down for the Enchantress. Boo, no sentries on him. Bebby also.
Look, I actually think it's a mid Doom. Look at his items, and Slack has 8 tangos. Mind games.
I wonder how DJ's gonna fare. He's got his boots and a smoke. I was just looking at the two supports over on MVP though. They've both got a smoke apiece. Looks like MVP are planning to be very active early on. Pull tangos out for MP's Doom towards the mid lane. Lots of arrows being drawn on the map there by Dubu. Forev, Nature's Pride off Flame, going to be dealing with Net Sven as well as 343's Tusk. They've got lots of mobility and catch potential there between the two of them.
It's fight time.
Yeah. Roll across already. Mid one's looking for the bounty rune and he's going to try and punch out MP, but with a cask and stuns, mid one already dropping very low. Dubu, he's dropping even lower though with the fire spirit, and now the fairy fire. The charge will trap him in, he's killed off by the burn, and mid one is kept alive through this all. He's healing himself past the damage, but the pounce. QO finally traps him in with another fairy fire forward, a roll across, and now into Bebby. He does die eventually, but it's MVP that will lose numerous heroes here. As the Vengeful Spirit.
Dearly departed.
So, they drop her life, but it's a 2-for-1.
Oh, Kyo.
QO.
Pound's still on 4-second cooldown. He's going to take so much damage, or possibly die.
Can they block him off? Can they keep him away from the pounce out? And he's going to get himself back onto the ramp as well, but QO, he buys a T. He's out of lane now for, what, a good minute? He's trying to deny to the Ancients, but without shield, it might be the life of death! DJ comes up onto the ramp again and kills him off. 3-1. As MVP, you get demolished at the top rune spot.
Between these two teams, we never have any chill time. There's just so much action going on before the first rune. Swap of events, like last game, MVP worked together. Oh my god, Ohio.
Oh, he already used his dive and it looked like he was going to be okay, but oh, the stuns coming through from MVP.
Dire's
Well
middle
timed.
tower is under attack.
So, these lanes. Ohio Phoenix plus DJ Enchantress. 2v3 pretty much up on the flank. Ohio should have an okay over this as long as he can keep that dive going. But mid lane, like Earth Spirit against Doom, I don't think I've ever seen this lane happen.
Radiant's middle tower
I
is
doubt
under attack.
most people have. This is something that just doesn't happen. Earth Spirit I mean, Secret plays at mid sometimes, but the Doom in this patch, I'm pretty sure this might be very well be the first Doom in a very long time in competitive. Oh, in one going for the roll.
Keeps on going on MP there, kicks him away. He's gonna get himself the top bounty rune. Jay secures that one. Ohio. We're holding on to this dive. Of course, because this is the off-lane Phoenix now, not the support one, he's not going for that that max Sunray build that we've known and love. And Ohio, yeah, escape out of that one. QO is definitely posturing in for the kill. For the lane we haven't really looked at, net spend down the bottom lane. 5 last hits, but Forev 10 and 4 as he's able to bully these two melee heroes.
Yeah, they're pushing the Slark's lane instead of babysitting the Sven too much. Forev's gonna have a fairly easy lane, as we see from the CS already. He's generally gonna feel untouchable in this lane against a Sven and a Tusk.
Desperate just keeps rolling onto MP. He's got his Scorched Earth as well as his Purge. 120 mana mid one. That's what he was aiming for before, kicking up onto the high ground so to walk straight through back to the creep wave and maybe even past the tower. MP. Okay for now as DJ. Holy crap, he got 2 of the kills at the start of the game, so he's got phase boots up already. This is where Febby as well as Dubu are going to have a really rough time. The right click attacks coming through from DJ. Febby backs himself up behind the tree line. But this top lane is dominant here from Fnatic.
Yeah, I mean, dominant is an understatement. It's basically, I think DJ can 1-on-2 the 2 supports, and Ohio can stop the Slark from farming. It's almost like these 3 heroes are put in the off-lane level of difficulty right now. The Satyr is on top of like phase boots and Enchantress at like 2-3 minutes. Oh my god, Febby.
Febby dropping low. They'll try a blast back onto Dubu. Ohio doesn't have a dive available with the pounce forward. The Dark Pack is there as well from QO. And they'll TP Forever as well in here to secure that kill. As DJ, they've overextended, not expecting this Forever rotation in. Dubu does dive to the right click attack, but DJ's going to drop as well. Or is he? The phase with movement speed keep him alive. The Tango healing up as well. And DJ, one more pounce is all QO needs. He needs a couple of hits though, and he's not going to be able to get it. The movement speed is just too bloody good. Mid one though, he's coming to try and battle through this one. He doesn't have a roll available. He's dead. Right, over in the dire jungle, just as it looked like Fnatic had got themselves out of a sticky situation, mid one puts himself straight back in it.
Very odd exchange that mid one actually came to help.
He's trying to juke himself past Ohio, but there's a level 2 dive as well as these fiery spirits, and I think QO might just die here. Ohio just has to commit for this kill, jumps forward, DJ will come in and secure it, even with the stick charges. Burn damage from the Phoenix is too enough. It's too much.
Yeah, even though MVP got that kill on mid one in their jungle, I think it was a poor trade for them. They just spent way too much time chasing the Enchantress, and Q ends up dying anyway. And then because Nature's Prophet had to TP there, Net, who wasn't having the easiest lane, is now top of the CS charts. Looks like MVP want to make a move on mid one, but not the easiest hero to kill. He can like stun or roll away if he reacts in time. They have the Doom though.
A minute.
Holy.
And another one. QO, I barely caught that one. Forever's TP'd in to try and stop this, but just sing along. And mid one, what happened? He TP'd top, so he doesn't get caught by the gank mid as well.
Unknowingly, probably. He's only level 5, so that was... I think Fnatic's mindset right now is, look guys, like last game we managed to come back from such a hard game and just by playing more patiently and disciplined. If we are able to secure the early game against a team like MVP, we're gonna win. That's like, you don't really see mids TP in.
Got the heals off with DJ. Up alive, the double rolls though, 3-4-3s now in the mix of things between 3 heroes. The ice shot blocking them in. This might be something that mid one considers going back into, but the heal from Voodoo Restoration, oh, been good enough. And MP even considering the Doom onto DJ with a stun forward. This Enchantress now trapped in, but the Phoenix jumps back in. The dive forward is no level 6 though. Just Fiery Spirits clearing up Dubu. They've got one kill, the roll forward as well, but DJ dropping low to the Doom and finally killed off as Ohio up onto the ramp again, but burning through from the Infernal Blade. And again, MVP, they even up the kill score here. The rest of Fnatic, they were TPing across trying to look for the re-engage. But this is all switched up to a 1v1 between QO at bottom lane, Slark against Sven, and mid one. Maybe even going to be the target of a purge and a go here from Doom.
Yeah, good. I wouldn't say pick off. It was just good exchange by MVP. I think mid one has been missing a lot of his spells. Like he keeps rolling, but it misses. And I'm not sure if mid one is actually all that comfortable on this hero. He's like once or twice okay, but it seems to be gas.
Eyes in the fountain. Corpse relinquished to the gods. One. Yeah, I see what you're saying. He's just hit level 6. He has been missing out on a number of his spells as Fnatic put themselves up from top lane. They've got their supernova. I think they're going to plan on defending this tier 1 at middle lane. The glyph is available. I just need a couple of other heroes to come back in with a tornado out. B. But it's not worth it to do any more damage onto this tower.
Here they go.
And Ohio jump on in there, dive forward, but he's all the way at the back of the fight. MP, no Doom available with the supernova down. Sure about this for Fnatic, it seems ill-executed, and MVP they're allowed to escape.
Oh, I see what happened. I think they thought they could defend because mid one could have TP'd in, but they forgot that mid one died while TPing. So without the Earth Spirit, if they had the Earth Spirit there, it could have been just so beautiful. The Phoenix combo into Earth Spirit getting his first ulti off. He had like max stones too. I mean, he had 5 stones, but over at bottom.
Interesting smoke placement there, but they go from bottom rune spot to kill off the Sven, and Bebby now dominating. 4-1 and 4. Ether Lens is nearly completed, and MP with his purge creep. This spell, like, okay, it costs 120 mana, and that's a big chunk of your mana pool, a quarter of it in fact. But he's able to slow down and kite heroes like the Sven, keep the Enchantress on lockdown. MP's had a pretty good start of things.
Yeah, I was worried for his mana pool, but he seems to get by somehow, and it's also really good for removing the Magnetize from Earth Spirit. So later on, if he's fast, as soon as Earth Spirit uses Magnetize, and if it only hits one hero, he can dispel it right away. And that might mean Earth Spirit doesn't really play a big factor in the team fights.
MVP, they look set on hitting this tier 1 mid. Fnatic though, Great is pushing power as 343 drops to half HP, diving in behind the tier 1, trying to scout people out and really find out where they're standing, but an observer ward well placed there will give them vision from the east. Short time though for MP to finish off phase boots on top of his drums. Well, Forev has the exact same itemization. Phase boots drums for him as well. Speed, attack damage, nice little raw stats as well. Fnatic, they're all grouped up at mid. Net is still continuing to farm through the jungle, but he needs to start stacking these ancients if he really wants to boost up his farm.
I think the smoke might have been spotted out. Yeah, look at Dubu. He was X-pinging Doom. He's like, hey, didn't you see the smoke? Get back, MP.
He's mid. It's going to be a smoke for MVP to try and counteract this. It is with the 3 of them behind forever. Regen for Sven. Know exactly where he is and where he's going. Oh no, they don't. They go over to the west. I'll loop around for this large cap to see that he's not here. It's been cleared out. And they find Net because Hero.
Here comes Nature's Prophet.
Closing. And Nature's Prophet straight on top of his head. And Net in the sprout. Spelling Blade gets him out. But here comes the stun from Hero. Should be able to clear this one up. The Slark gets the kill. And even with a stun from Net, Fnatic, they seem at a loss here. Not able to move around the map as they were doing so in the first 5 or 6 minutes.
Yeah, I think they're a bit frustrated that they can't seem to find a favorable engagement, like a good jump. This Earth Spirit, we have to remember this is mid Earth Spirit, and we haven't seen a big impact from him. He's supposed to, one of the upsides to mid Earth Spirit is to get the early level 6, which is potentially so imbalanced in team fights. You can just keep refreshing that, but yeah, their movement are getting red, and this Roche contest, I'm not sure if this is going to work out too well for them.
They got spotted again. observable from MVP deep. It knows exactly what's going on. The Roshan will side for Fnatic get in there with the roll. It's magnetized. There we go with the ultimate from that. It follows through and he's doomed up, but it's too late. Bebby already dead with the Witch Doctor's gun as well. Dubu as well. He's dead with the Doom clears up the Earth Spirit. Aegis, who picked it up? Where did it go? It's going to be Net that clears himself through this Fnatic or through the MVP lineup, and Forev burnt by the Fiery Spirits. Gets right clicked into oblivion. Aegis goes to the Doom. Duo retreats himself away. The Earth Spirit got a good 5-man ulti down though.
I think that was a sort of a misplay by MVP. The Roche was down for sure. They were by the time Fnatic decided to contest, it was too late to stop them from getting the Aegis. They just wanted to fight into the Roche pit. Obviously, a very nice position to fight in. I think one of the players, like the Witch Doctor, should have been outside the pit, spotting out the smoke and making sure the Earth Spirit is not gonna get a combo like that. But it wasn't the worst at the same time. It's not like MVP got team wiped. Doom is still holding on to that Aegis, and we saw yesterday what this hero is capable of. It wasn't the mid, but mid one.
What is going on?
Radiant's top
Back,
tower
yeah, the
is under
Easter Lens
attack.
level 1 swap from Febby. Perhaps the Earth Spirit in an awful position, but it's going to be MP.
Well, that's the Aegis.
The tier 1, you're right, he does have that secondary life. He'll throw the Storm Hammer down on him as well, but Net comes through with the God Strength. Dubu trapped in the shards, but with that cast holding Net in place, MP does not have Scorched Earth anymore. They just need another stun, so we slow him down. MP is going to sprint himself away with that Sigil. Oh, he gets himself back up into the high ground. And Fnatic would have loved to bring him down. But MVP are the ones that split and spread across the map, looking for tier 1 up at top lane, as well as now looking to maybe contest Net over in these Ancients. Duo has his eyes set on his man. Well, there's maybe a kill forever. He's got that magnetized down on him. Mid one. The grip into the smash. Forever. Where's the TP out?
I
He's
think
going to
he's
complete. He's finally back in the fountain. No, he's not. He dies to the Fiery Spirit and burns the damage over time.
So close, but they are completely surrounded right now.
Bebby tries to stun for the roll away. Earth Spirit, Council Latch. QO finds him with the Infernal Blade. MP is up to a dominating streak. 4-0-8. MVP Phoenix. Again, they look like they're kind of in the driving seat here. 6k net worth on the Doom, 6k on that Slark as he goes from Midas and Shreds. But Sven would love to be leapfrogging himself over these MVP heroes and, you know, king and farming ancients over and over again, just isn't getting the opportunity to do so.
I'm really worried for Fnatic because the mid one compared to last game, I'm sorry to say, but this Earth Spirit performance is not working out. He's level 7. Let's just think about this. He was level 7 like 6 or 7 minutes ago, and he's still level 7. I don't see him farming any big items. Probably like a Veil or Arcane Boots. But on top of that, Net hasn't been having the greatest game either. He's 0-2. Hasn't really had the time to farm these Ancients. Just how it's not like last game where they have these Invoker. This Earth Spirit is not an Invoker, and Sven arguably, you know, he has like other strengths compared to the Spectre, but in terms of like flexibility, you can't just haunt in, which means he has to balance farming with contributing to the team.
Try and limit the push in here from MVP up at top, but now this tier 1 mid is dropping slowly but surely. Not quite taken out just yet, and the rest of Fnatic, they seem kind of paranoid about moving any further forward in case MVP do come in to contest this. Dubu is, you know, all alone here, but they have no idea about this. Finally, Febby will TP in, and they're actually closing the net around them. Doom from the north, Slark from the south. Duo aiming, jump in onto someone, but not sure who that someone's going to be with an urn and impetus down onto the Slark door. Kind of deter him from jumping in, but he has Shadow Dance to heal himself up while up at top lane. Net, does he have a TP? He does. Might be where the big fight actually breaks out. Ohio, what level are we sitting on? Level 10. Oh, he'd love to be level 11 at this point just to go in with a level 2 egg. Fortunately, he's funny. He's snatching his levels away from him.
They didn't even deny the tower on MVP. They're pretty confident that they want an excuse to fight. And if that tower is there, that might mean one more try where Fnatic come try to take that tower, and they can just roll over Fnatic.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Defend us.
DJ will get his tier 1 mid at long last.
Dire's middle tower has fallen.
Bro. Where are you? Where are you hiding? MVP is farming Radiant Jungle. Up at top, Net is actually cutting himself through these trees. I don't know if he can kill off Forev here, but the rest of Fnatic are making their nice little wander up the top. Warcry stun. It's not going to be in time. Forev TP's down to bottom lane, and then you look at all this commitment from Fnatic. They run 4 or 5 heroes up the top lane, while down at bottom lane, the push is hardcore here from MVP. IO, Fiery Spirit, is here from Femi back up to 3-4-3, they're trapping him, but the snowball buys them some time with a supernova as well. They land it down, and MVP, they're kind of trapped in here with the shards. MP, the Doom is going to drop. They'll lose one at the very least, but Fnatic are going to struggle to catch anyone else out here as Forever completes his TP. So does Femi. Still burning through in the fountain. But for the Koreans, that's kind of okay the way things went. That's a couple of ultis baited. That's Fnatic not getting first kills or heroes there.
It's okay. I think it's still really good for Fnatic that they were behind and they got such a kill. The Sven didn't have mana when he TP'd in, which was unfortunate. But still, mid one is level 8, 18 minutes into the game as a mid hero. This is kind of concerning. And Net
Browns trapped inside of it, but lands the pounce barely, scratches on the backside of Net. Turns to try and swipe down the Slark, but Forever with that completed Orchid. Good use of his teleportation ability to get himself across the map.
Yeah, we haven't talked too much about the items. Oh my god, Ohio is gonna get chased. There's just non-stop action here.
Yeah.
Swap.
Thunder, and Ohio now has no retreat available with that Death Ward, the little bongo drumming frog. Nubu, cure himself a juicy pick-off there onto the Phoenix. He's level 11, he has his Midas, and he's trying to head into that Shivers Guard. Fnatic definitely not having the best of times. Again, we go back to the first 6 minutes, laning phase was perfect for them. Is this all down to mid one's Earth Spirit not having the performance he kind of required?
Yeah, I think I have to somewhat put the blame on the mid one. He made really early rotations on Earth Spirit. I think he could have just been a bit more patient because getting level 6 on Earth Spirit is just so important. It's essentially a free kill if the other guy can't TP out. And he has 2 ways to cancel TPs, so... I mean one way, but... It just does so much damage early on. Him not being able to use Magnetize before the 10-minute mark was sort of detrimental, and he might... Yeah, he's gonna get swapped here.
But he's actually rolled back. Too bad, the rest of MVP are already here and available. Fine mid one. Yeah, the reaction times, the availability of MVP heroes, it's not just the one TP in, it's not just the swap into one hero there to kill him off. It's 4 heroes from MVP while the Doom is farming Radiant Jungle. It's just this great spread. MVP, knowing where they need to be, what they need to do, the ward coverage here. 2 observer wards over in the Dire Jungle watching for the advance across from the west to east. This down to them wanting the next Roshan. Be about this tier 2 at bottom lane.
It's just classic MVP. You put the wards deep into the enemy base territory, as many as possible. Then you have a heads up about where they're gonna move to, or like what they're thinking about. So these wards are kind of non-standard, at least the one on the bottom side. So Fnatic, until these wards are gone, they might keep getting frustrated that they can't seem to get a break on catching MVP out of position. I think most of the fights in this game have been controlled by MVP, when even if Fnatic had a win, it's MVP who chose to bring the fight to them, like at the bottom tier 2.
Holy crap. Okay, Kyo did not go for a Shadow Blade or a Blink. He has rushed a Skadi. Slark has a full Skadi 20 minutes in. This Hero Slark is going to be close to invincible.
Yeah, I think it might be that he wants to just right-click the Sven. Skadi is going to be so annoying for the Sven. But yeah, it's just Kyo things. I won't presume to know how he thinks. Not really worth it.
does what he does just because.
Yeah.
There's no reason.
Dire's bottom tower
I mean, I saw at some point he had like 3.4k gold, so he wasn't saving it for either the Blink Dagger or the Shadow Blade.
Dire's
Look at this, Kiro's kind of baiting Fnatic into staying around a little bit longer with a glyph out. The rest of MVP are just shoving out the other lanes. Reason to commit into any kind of battle here. And MP continues farming. He's got his BKB completed.
Yo.
Is Kiro in trouble? Like he is. I was watching over towards the Roche pit because the TP attempt from Febby, from Forev, and Febby was waiting around in there as well. Kiro does get dropped, so he is not invincible. He is mortal and killable here. Roshan respawning in about 10 to 15 seconds or so. Who is this more important for?
The Roche, well, yeah, we have to define like important. I think if MVP gets a Roche, it's gonna be so hard for Fnatic to take the next fight or survive the next 5 minutes without losing too much efficiency. For Fnatic though, I think Ned, right now he doesn't have a BKB, so he's very easily killable by MVP. Like this Orchid is still gonna make Ned fairly useless. For mid, are they?
With the failed damage, the roll onto the Vengeful Spirit, but mid one doesn't have enough damage to kill off the Venge. Even with the impetus out, Dubu, his buddy, nice and fresh with that Voodoo Restoration. Now Net, he wants to stack up these Ancients some more. He's got himself Blink, Sand, and Yasha Helm. Progression has been pretty good, you know, even with 3 deaths, he's got 200 last hits, 12,000 net worth. But I'm just still looking at this Forever Nature's Prophet with Maelstrom. Pretty much, you know, he can complete it. Saving onto that money just for his buyback on top of the Maelstrom recipe. In case he needs to TP back into a fight somewhere.
Yeah, he was saving up for the reliable gold. Yeah, he has both the buyback and the Maelstrom, so looks like, yeah, MVP. Standard play to go for a smoke before the Roche. Sometimes it's risky to just go for the Roche, and one pickoff is going to ensure that they can take the Roche uncontested. And oddly enough, Fnatic they showed themselves as 5 in the mid lane, so they either have to be really confident or ready to take this next fight. MVP getting the flank on them. Slark gonna find Ohio.
Wow, Phoenix has the Shiver's Guard though. Lots of armor, the Supernova is early, and can they try and force this down? They cannot. MP's BKB, the fresh 10-second one, it's already utilized here, but with the ice shots there, the punch up into the air, and MP's dropping very low. He dooms the PK with his final dying breath, though, and QO is being posted by the Sun Ray. The damage up, and then he's got number 2 is going to drop as well with the death ward down. It's a triple kill for Ned. And Sven, it's time to hunt and look for more. He looks forward aggressively, looking for the smudge and stun, but it's the Tusk Snowball. An ultra kill from Sven. And MVP Phoenix thought they had that fight, but one by one, they just dropped like flies.
Oh boy.
4K gold swing there.
Fnatic don't go for Roche, which is weird. Why don't they go for Roche? This tier 2 is kind of like whatever, they could just go for Roche right now. If they want to go for Roche after this tier 2, it might be a bit risky, seeing as how Slark still has the Shadow Dance. He would have had it anyway, but still. AD, yeah.
Twice the damage.
BKB for Sven. Well, they still walk into the Roche pit. MVP, the Koreans, they're prepping for this contest. Who has Death Ward in 15 seconds? Roshan is dying, but I don't know if this is going to be fast enough. The Wave of Terror will reduce the armor of it and maybe allow Fnatic to have a better time of this, but it's actually a jump on the Febby. They're going to clear up the Vengeful Spirit with mid one and Ohio doing a good amount of damage down onto him, but Febby isn't dead just yet. He should burn through to the urn and the Fire Spirit, but it's actually the
kill is on net.
Godspect is there from Net, though, with the grab back on his DJ, the snowball back onto the next top, and Forev is dead and cleared up. Kiro has to retreat. He has no teammates remaining, and further over to the east, it's actually the first little magnetize from mid one. Dubu kicked. Taken out. Good Spirit. He's going to survive through this. It looks like he's okay for now. And with the cleave through from Net, the damage output MP BKBs, but impetus damage goes straight on through that. And QO, 100 HP. Healing with a Shadow Dance. The pounce in 3 seconds time, but it's not going to be there fast enough. Another impetus. He does. He bounces over the trees. But no, QO. See you, buddy. This is not going to be your day. 3 heroes And that was a full team wipe over time there for Fnatic over MVP, as well as Sven getting his hands on Aegis of the Immortal.
I think it's fair to say this game is looking very tough for MVP. All of a sudden, just 5 minutes ago, I was saying how Fnatic are going to have trouble fighting into MVP if they get the Roche, which I thought MVP had a higher chance of getting the Roche, but then the fight at the mid happened and it just went completely opposite of how I predicted it. I think the problem was that MP was sort of indecisive about his Doom. He made up his mind about who he wanted to Doom, which was the Enchantress. I think that's what happened, and usually as a Doom you don't always have that luxury. You have to just Doom depending on the situation. If this guy you really want to Doom is too far out, well, that's too bad, man. You have to switch your Doom target and just trust the teammates are able to deal with everyone else. Because he was getting hammered while he had BKB, and then he got the Doom off on the Enchantress at the last minute. It's kind of not too impactful for the rest of his teammates fighting the 4-on-4.
Just can't survive through the impetus shots out of DJ. You know, you're looking at this Enchantress, your 4-role hero, and honestly, it may as well have been a mid Enchantress. Mid one, he's got 2k gold on top of that Veil, but sitting at 7,500 net worth. QO.
QO.
Silence the stun, there's the Veil as well, and that comes in with the God Strength and takes him down! Oh, I thought that Scardy maybe would be enough to tank him up, but now he has to go back into the Manta style to get rid of the silence. But not having any mobility item, not having a Shadow Blade or a Blink Dagger is really being punishment here for QO.
Yeah, and he's building on Yasha. I think he desperately. I think he's thinking about going Manta because he realizes how annoying the silence is.
Dire's middle tower is
But oh boy, he might not have time to finish that next item before they possibly lose a set of racks here.
Dire's structures are fortified.
Gonna try and push it up onto high ground. 8.5 minutes in, Dubu, he's got his death ward ready.
Oh, lucky for MP though, he has an invis room, but there is a sentry in range.
Minutes for the Aegis. They're looking at Forever though, actually shoving in this top lane, trying to battle through the backdoor regen, but it's not really going to be good enough. He will succeed a little bit better when the bot lane is up onto the high ground, but Net is already clamoring for this melee rack. Looks like he shouldn't have too many difficulties bringing it down as Forever retreats from the top lane. Fnatic, they got what they came for, and they will retreat. Oh, yeah. Forever! He still gets caught!
Oh, I switched the screen. I thought it was too late for mid one. Oh, he has a blink dagger. I see. When he started teleporting, and I saw the mid one teleporting in as well, I thought, okay, it's too late mid one, but he got it.
Absolutely. Forever dead for a minute, so there's no split pushing available here for them. QO said that Yasha fully into the Manta style. Bevy. Such a great start on this Vengeful Spirit with the early Ether Lens, the Soul Crest, now with 1300 gold. Oh, do you look for a armor cape, something like that, for your little Vengeful Spirit? Because it's getting rough. Can't keep these targets alive.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
It really is. Ooh. Glimmer Cape might be really good. Force Staff, potentially.
Or maybe
because against
maybe you think about getting Dubu's Aghanim Scepter. I mean, the game might come to a close before that, but I think Dubu's Ags, that Wingstock.
I doubt Dubu will finish Ags this game.
A boy can dream. you can always hope for the best.
Ags isn't gonna be really good against Warcry and like Phoenix and Egg. Doesn't really get targeted.
Also, defense time here. Net still has Aegis for about 10 seconds or so. Realize this. Aegis should expire in a little bit. Go. And they can think about going back in if they want to. Tier 3 drops at top, so the naked rack's up there. Forever has to go and make something happen on another lane. But MVP have no vision here of Fnatic, so they don't know if they've retreated from top and they've moved towards mid or towards their jungle.
Oh, they have the ward in the jungle, so they saw that it was a fake back for the time being. but this age.
Swap back, no Aegis, so Net with a back onto him, but with a supernova out, the Forest Spirit, QO, he's dropping so low, and Net just surviving through it all his life, feeling back past the Doom damage, and now Net is not even gonna die! With the Sunray out, Fnatic, they've kept everyone alive, and QO's gonna miss the pounce and still get the kill with the Dark Pact, and now with the stamps back on the QO to clear him up! The buyback from Doom, shortly followed through with a Slug buyback likely here to defend their racks. There we go, QO into the game once more, 3-4-3 Ohio, time to jump away, Forest Spirit back, but it's all cleared up, QO looking for the pounce with a sprout down onto the Phoenix, the kick forward from mid one, not going to be able to save Ohio, and MVP with a double buyback defend their top lane of barracks, but it's costly, it's so costly.
Definitely is. Are we going to see a reverse of game one? Now it's MVP's turn to go make the comeback. They only lost one set of racks in the mid though, so the situation is less dire than when it was for Fnatic, no pun intended.
I mean, what was the situation for MVP? They took down 1.5 lanes, right? They took half of mid or something?
They took both the melee rexes on the mid and bottom, and they also get the range racks on bottom. So it was like 1.5, or like the melee racks counts as like, I guess, 80% of a lane. So yeah. So
basically Fnatic, they've got to take the top lane of racks, and then it's like an even situation. Then they have to throw
Kyo,
and lose.
Kyo, you don't have buyback.
Gets his Dark Pact off. Got the invis as well, but the jump forward from mid one. Nice shards, kicks across, QO still stunned up, Dark Pact as well, but the invis damage is gone. 93 seconds on the sidelines, and this looks like it might be the full lane of racks at top. Like what we were talking about the other day, man. QO, he knows they're at a deficit, and he knows that he's one of the guys that can bring them back into this game. But with him shoving top, it was kind of a not even a do or die moment. It was just a die or die moment.
Babby though.
Look at the ulti down on the 3-4-3, but the Sprout down forward, they kill the Tusk. Mid one. This is out on his roll. There's the rest of Fnatic coming in. Oh, there's the Magnetite and the kick as well. Oh, there's a refresher. Ohio? Ohio has a bloody refresher orb. Jump forward again on the Febby with the Shiver's Guard and the Sunray. And in the meantime, you know what's happening. Racks are falling up top. Net's got his God strength up. The TP forward from the Doom will get the ultimate down on the Net and the BKB from MP. But Net can turn and fight. The cast is bouncing back and forth. Duba does not have a death ward. And Net, he just needs to stick on a target. The Malphite is actually burning through him pretty quickly. But mid one with the kill on the Nature's Prophet with the help of that bloody Enchantress. The Sunray keeps Net alive as well. The BKB is there as well. Pops get himself out of the Maledict. And Febby, impetus shot from DJ.
Are under attack.
I think this is game over though. Unlike the last game, this lineup is gonna be able to push this final set of racks before Slark can revive. Yeah, they can still threaten the Slark. They have a lot of damage. Enchantress doesn't have too much mana, which is the upside.
Whoa. Yeah, that's an aggressive TP forward. Get away from my buildings. Although Ohio has supernova.
70 seconds on Doom though. This is looking quite problematic.
Oh, with the cast, now the dive forward. What strength is there from Net, and he's got the blink stun. Trying to look for a kill onto QO, but Dark Pact, Death Pact even is turned around. QO, oh, Shadow Dance is away. But it's the Death Ward down on the DJ that's going to do a little bit of tickly damage. Death Ward, not going to last too long though. Dubu, as well as the rest of his comrades here, MVP Phoenix, cap out in game number 2. And are you kidding me? DJ gets swapped back into the fountain and buys a blink so he can actually get himself out of the fountain and survive. That's insane. Game number 2 goes the way of Fnatic, so they are 2-0 up here in this best of 5. They are 1 game away from 3-0 MVP, and by extension, 3-0 EG.
Yeah.
That's how it works, right?
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure if this game was as impressive, to be honest, by Fnatic, because I feel like MVP just threw away the lead.